I just have to start off by saying this guy's smile really creeps me out. Whew. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm very excited because I'm going to be covering 90 Day Fiancé. If you're not aware, season 8 started last night. We're on episode 1, so I'm going to talk through the couples and all the craziness that's happened already. Yep, because that much has happened already. And we're going to get into it. Now, I do want to say, if you're waiting for my Potomac to come out, it is coming. But for whatever reason today, Bravo is being very slow to release it to Amazon. So every time I try to watch it, to recap it, it says episode not available. So as soon as they release that episode, I will be on Potomac because it's the season finale and I can't wait to watch it. But if you're here for the 90 Day Fiancé, welcome. Let's get into this. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. Okay, so since they're all new to me, let's go through the couples so that way we can tell who's who. These are just the ones featured on this episode. I know there's more couples coming, but let's get to know these couples right here. So this is Jovi and Yara. She is from Ukraine. He lives in New Orleans. Jovi, there's no nice way to say it. He gives me serial killer vibes. I am so creeped out by Jovi. I'm not just talking about his looks. I'm talking about his vibe. I really get uneasy watching him. I don't know what it is. Serial killer radar going off. Whew, we'll see about Jovi. This is Rebecca and Zied. So if you didn't watch my Before the 90 Days, season 3, go watch it because we get all into Rebecca and Zied. We get to see their journey, when he proposed in the Sahara, when she told him about her past and kept lying to him about her past, and everything that happened. It was pretty good, so definitely recommend watching that. This is Brandon and Julia. Brandon doesn't know how babies are made. He just thinks it'll all work out. We're really going to get into him this episode because talk about just clueless. He just doesn't think you should be bothered with birth control. It'll all work out and it'll be fine. This is Mike and Natalie. Mike lives in Washington. He owns a bunch of acres. He's bringing over his Ukrainian fiancée, Natalie. And yeah, I don't have high hopes for these two, partially because the very first scene we see, Natalie's packing up to go back home. Like, they kind of spoil their own show here that things have not gone well, and she's packing up to leave, and it looks like it's the day before their wedding. Okay, let's get into the episode. Oh my goodness, what an episode. So good. I was so excited. I was really hoping I'd enjoy the couples, and boy, do I ever. This is Brandon. Brandon's a pest control technician. He lives with his family, and we will talk about his family, his mom and his dad. Holy cow. He is 27 years old. He lives with his parents still. He's saying the reason is because he spent so much on this visa and on trips with his fiancé and stuff, but I don't think mom can let him go, and I don't think he wants to let mom go. It's a very strange relationship. So whenever Brandon is talking, they play awkward music, and all I could think of when I see Brandon, did you ever see, oh God, what was that movie? Primal Fear, I think, with Edward Norton? Yeah, he kind of looks like that, just young and sheltered and creepy. Okay. He calls himself a late bloomer, never been in a serious relationship. But then he met Julia. She lives in Russia. And they've traveled together. He proposed to her, and they planned a trip to France where the families could meet. Well, let me tell you about Julia. Julia's a go-go dancer, and nothing wrong with that. Good for her. But obviously, this is a point in contention already with mom because she made sure to tell us that Julia's a go-go dancer. And we saw photos of Julia being a go-go dancer. Okay. So he doesn't know if she understands, Julia meaning, that he's not rich. He says, when Julia arrives, we'll be living with my parents on the farm, and we have 90 days to get married. Holy cow. So we see them FaceTiming, and this is where we find out, so he paid for them to go to France. They went to Iceland where he proposed. He paid for the K1 visa stuff. He spent about $10,000 in the last few months. So he says he's also supporting her, and he's now gotten himself into debt. So they have to live with his parents. He wants to save up. He's worried about his mom, I wonder why, and Julia clashing. Mom is concerned about the go-go dancing. Again, she likes to bring that up. She's hoping that Julia will help out on the farm. What the hell? Even if it's not a cultural thing, like most people, I don't know. I mean, if you didn't grow up that way, you're not going to know how to help I wouldn't know how to help on a farm. What the hell? So much more good stuff to come about this story. But then we go over to Jovi. Okay, let's talk about this serial killer. Is it just me? Like, when he's not... Oh, no, there's that smile. There it is. Whew. When he's not smiling, maybe I could see that he's somewhat attractive, but I can't. He smiles, and I get so freaked out. I actually have a visceral reaction. I'm pretty sure he's going to murder me. I really get freaked out by this guy. Okay, so he is into Cajun culture. He grew up on the bayou, but he wanted to live in the bigger city of New Orleans, and he works in underwater robotics. Well, he has this weird work schedule where he had to travel for work. He'd work 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. So he got on this travel app to meet people, and that's where he met Yara. She's 25. She lives in Ukraine. He said she's very beautiful. She turns heads walking down the street. They decided to meet up in Budapest. He thought it was for a one-night stand. He wasn't sure. The first night was very awkward, but then he explains they got drunk, they had sex, and things got much better. He goes on to explain that she loves luxury things, whereas he loves fishing and beer. So I'm sure this is going to go really well. We hear a really sad story where Yara... See, I didn't like this. He kept saying, Yara got pregnant. No, together you guys got pregnant. That's how that works. He said he was shocked and nervous, and then after the shock wore off, it made them closer. They went to Cuba and he proposed to her, and then unfortunately they lost the baby. I'm saying it like that. He said she lost the baby. It just bothered me. I just didn't like how he talked about her. Again, he's a serial killer. After miscarriage, he was thinking, I don't have to do this, and he got cold feet. But more time has gone on, and he's realizing she's the one he wants to be with. We've waited for a long time for Yara's visa to be approved, and I really hope she likes Louisiana. Then we see Rebecca. Again, I know Rebecca because I covered 90 Day Fiancé Season 3 before the 90 days. Such a good show. That's where we see Rebecca and Zied meet for the first time. We kind of get to see the culture, and they're in Tunisia, and oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about her. So in that season, she was saying she's a private investigator. She's putting trackers on people's cars and shit. Well, now she's a general manager of a chicken place. Okay, cool, but weird transition. She's completely covered in tattoos, as we know, and she's getting one to honor Zied. And she calls him her Arabic prince. It's so weird. She's like almost 50, but she acts like she's 5. And that's what I pointed out in the other season. She just gets these weird ideas in her head that she's going to marry her prince and it's all going to be fine, even though nothing is fine. She's had 3 failed marriages. Oh my God, this filter thing was so funny. So she only would send him pictures with these insane filters that look nothing like her. And when they met in person, Zied was being very sweet. He was like, she's beautiful. She's not like the picture. And he said that like several times, like she's beautiful, but not like the picture. Well, no shit. She was face tuning her picture. We got to see him propose in the Sahara Desert. What they left out is that same trip she explained that she used to be in a relationship with a woman. So he left her in the desert. He hopped on a four-wheeler and took off because he doesn't believe in that sort of thing. So she took this job as manager of this chicken place because she has to prove that she can provide for him when he gets here. The K-1 visa was approved, and the next step is they have an interview. And the interview's in 2 days. She's worried that, because she's done this before. Now, if you don't know, she did this with a man from Morocco. She did the same thing, except for she went there and married him and then tried to bring him back on the visa and realized that he was only with her for a green card. So she's worried that's going to hinder the interview, and she's telling him, please keep your anger in check. It's fine. Yeah, so she talks to his sister a little bit. That was weird as shit because in the, before the 90 days, like, the sister did not want Zied to go. He did not want her to be with this lady. She made it very known. It was a very awkward dinner at the sister's house. And so things are obviously still very uncomfortable between Rebecca and Zied's sister. Can't imagine why. She keeps saying this is her last chance at love. She said this before on her season. This is her last chance at love. So it's like she's throwing all the eggs in this basket. And hopefully it'll work out. Then we go to Mike. He calls himself Big Mike. He's 6'7", which is pretty cool. Mike from Washington. A year ago, he purchased 27 acres of land that's been in his family for years. It's a lot of work. We immediately are introduced to Uncle Bo. Uncle Bo, wow, he's a ranch hand, and he lives at the house with Mike. And Mike keeps talking about how simple life is on the ranch. Then he met Natalie from the Ukraine. They didn't say how they actually met. He talked to her for a year. And they finally, I think he said he went there, they met in person, and they hit it off. And he asked Natalie to marry him. Got all the paperwork lined up. And after 6 months of waiting, Natalie was upset and asked him to come to the Ukraine. So he decided to go back to visit her because it had been a long time, waiting on this visa. Well, he kind of brushes over it and says, last trip had some highs and some lows. I didn't watch the season they were on, but we can tell that they were on a season because they flash back to the reunion from it. So if you did watch it, let me know how that went, because it seems like they are a train wreck together, which sucks. I like him, but he's an idiot. He doesn't understand why this, stranger from another country would not want to live with his Uncle Bo, who she doesn't know. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. He's just kind of like, oh, it'll work out. No, it probably won't. Okay, so then he tells the story that Natalie threw her ring at him. That's not good. He says that he felt lost when she gave the ring back. And it's revealed that what happened is Mike has a female best friend, and she asked him to be her best man. And the night before the wedding, he slept on her couch. And I guess the husband-to-be was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. So Natalie found out that the husband-to-be wasn't there and that it was just the two of them, I guess, alone in the house, and she got pissed. So he's saying, no, this is ridiculous. I would never cheat on Natalie. And he said he's done a lot of thinking the last few months. They've had a lot of hard talks. He says that he feels happy and excited, but he's nervous because she says, hey, guess what? I got my visa. And his face is like, oh, shit. Visa. So the way that works is there's a deadline. She has to be in the U.S. in 20 days after getting that visa. So she's got to get on it. So he's speechless. He's nervous. They say I have a lot to talk about and figure out. And he says, we need to work on communication, anger, and jealousy. And this is a Hail Mary. All the makings for a fantastic, very solid relationship. Okay, so back to Brandon. Oh, goodness, Brandon. He's getting rid of his old furniture and bringing in new furniture to get ready for Julia to come. He was very much thinking that he and Julia could sleep together in the same bed, but his parents won't allow it. They want her in a separate room. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe we're talking about this because he's 27 years old. But this is his fault. He's acting like an infant. He relies on his parents for everything, and he's living with them. So if they make this rule, he kind of just has to suck it up. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it sounds like they know they sleep together, but it's their house, their rule. I just think it's crazy. He's just kind of weird about everything. I don't know. Oh my goodness. So to make it even weirder, he's worried that Julia's going to be upset. Okay. Next week when Julia comes, he wants to take her to DC when she gets there and show her around. Well, Mom's like, oh no, I'm coming with you. So Mom agreed to pay for her flight to come over and for a weekend in DC to go sightseeing as long as Mom and Dad can come. What the hell? So then we see this crazy conversation where Mom is asking if Julia's on birth control. And he's an idiot, and he says, nope, she's not. Well, Mom offers to take her to the doctor when she gets here. He says, I don't know. I don't know if I want to take on that responsibility either. Birth control and stuff like that. That's exactly what he says. I don't want to take on that responsibility of birth control and stuff like that. Even the dad's like, what the hell are you talking about? Oh my God. He doesn't want to take responsibility for birth control. So what happens when you have to take responsibility of a baby, you idiot? So Brandon's like, I guess we're not being safe. I want to bang my head against the wall. Brandon says that I brought up the idea of birth control with Julia multiple times. She shoots it down. Her whole thing is she doesn't want to take medicine. And producer asks him, well, what's wrong with condoms? And he says, there's nothing wrong with condoms, but they're definitely not as fun. So, oh my gosh. Now I see why the mom's an overbearing psychopath. Like, she has to be because he's an idiot. Mom is saying, don't take chances. You shouldn't do this. And he's like, I'm not taking chances. Yes, you are. You're being an idiot. Not only, like, baby, but what about STDs? And, you're such an idiot. Okay, Mom is saying it's an accident waiting to happen. And Dad's saying, we set the rules. We're going to stand by them. We can't bend on that. Well, now I get why. He's an idiot. He doesn't know how babies work. All right, then we go to Jovi. Jovi and his creepy-ass smile. So Yara's going to be there in 2 days. So he's gone and gotten a new apartment. He's going to pick up a TV from a friend's house to prepare for her arrival. He's talking to the friends about the 90 days to get married or go back to Ukraine. His friends tell him, yep, this will be interesting. Well, they straight up say, this is weird. You're being weird. And they talk about him being a social butterfly and not being able to just go out whenever he wants. So this becomes a thing. We can see it already. He mentions going out. It comes up later. It comes up in the preview for the season. This guy, I think, has a severe drinking problem, it appears. Just from what I can see so far. She even mentions in the preview that he's, like, drunk at 8:30 in the morning. Hello. Okay. So even his friends are like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you thinking? You can't handle this. And he's saying, I'm impulsive. I do what I want. I like to drink. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I mean, sure, this is all going to work out great, serial killer. Then we go from one cringy scene to the next. We're at Rebecca. So Rebecca is at her daughter Tiffany's house. And Tiffany's fiance, Micah's. I guess they have this apartment together. And says that they're more like best friends than mother and daughter. Okay, that's a red flag already. Rebecca has an apartment, but the lease is coming up soon. And she hasn't found a place yet. She also explains she spent $15,000 to $20,000 on, I guess, getting Zied over here. And I don't know. Daughter... So since they have space for them, they are going to, it sounds like Rebecca thinks it's a good idea for her and Zied to live with the daughter and her fiance, Micah. Is this not the craziest shit you've ever heard? I'm thinking maybe stop getting so many expensive tattoos and save your money and don't live with your daughter. Just an idea. And oh my God, this is so weird. So Zied is uncomfortable with Rebecca being there around Micah. Let me remind you, Micah is her daughter's Tiffany's fiance. And Zied is, we see this in his season 2. He's a strict Muslim, so he has very strong beliefs about certain things, including the ways to be around men. And so he doesn't like the idea of Rebecca being around Micah because Micah's an unmarried man. It's just so cringy. So, I don't know. None of them have any sense. The daughter's the only one that seems to have a little bit of sense. She's like, I don't want to live with my mom and her 28-year-old fiance. But she's trying to be supportive and she's trying to help out her mom. But I'm thinking like, damn, Rebecca, get your shit together. What are you thinking? Rebecca says the difference between what happened with the guy in Morocco is she didn't have the 90 days with that guy. She'll have it with Zied. So she'll be able to figure out in 90 days if Zied's the one for her. Oh, okay. She hopes that he is the man that she thinks he is, and this isn't all for nothing. Oh, geez, so much cringe. Then we go back to Big Mike. I'm going to call him Big Mike because it's kind of funny. Also, he kind of looks like Blake Shelton to me. Okay, so Natalie arrives in 4 days, so he's getting his hair cut. And he's telling the lady cutting his hair that he's very nervous and excited. I am nervous about that lady's haircut. He explains that they have ongoing issues. We find out that she's vegan and she wants him to become vegan. And he's very doom and gloom about it. And these are things you might want to figure out before she comes over. And he's explaining about the I love you stuff where they asked her, do you love him? And she basically says, I have strong feelings for him. I could grow to love him. Not good. So the hair lady is saying she's worried that she thinks he deserves better and he deserves to be happy. And what are the big plans for the wedding? When she asks about that, he says, I'm not even thinking about the wedding. Well, you might want to think about it if it's in like less than 90 days. So then we see him go to FaceTime Natalie, and she's very excited, or she asks if he's excited for her to come over. He says he's scared. Well, when he says that, her mood flips and says one thing that bothers her is, where is Uncle Beau? So we can see that he's kind of tiptoeing around this Uncle Beau thing. He's like, well, it sounds like Beau is up visiting his son in Seattle, and he's on his way back to the house. Why the hell didn't they plan this out better? Why didn't they figure out, oh, hey, she's 4 days away. Maybe that's a good time for Beau to go visit his son, spend some time in Seattle, and then come back. So that way they could have the house to themselves. It just sounds like they didn't think it through, or he didn't think it through. She said she doesn't want to stay in the house with a stranger, and she wants time with him. And this is where this guy really bugged me, because he's like, yeah, we got to work on this, and we'll be alone, and I hope we fall in love and it'll all work out. Oh, my God. Again, it'd be one thing if time wasn't an issue, but you have 90 days to figure this out, and these are big deals. Relocating somebody, relocating 2 people, potentially, if Uncle Beau moves. Uncle Beau. And potentially marrying this woman. So, yeah, these are big deals. You might want to figure these out. Hey, we're back to Brandon. Brandon, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I actually enjoy watching him because his family is so crazy, and so is he, that it's actually kind of fun to watch. So Brandon's packing, and his mom cannot let him do anything on his own, 27 years old. So she's like, like, okay, Brandon, we gotta go. Let's go pick her up from the airport. Are you done packing, Brandon? So they're going, and apparently it's a long drive to the airport to go get her. And remember, the parents are coming because they're going to go hang out in D.C. after all this. Oh, my God. He says, oh, my gosh. He doesn't think that his fiance should... Okay, so he's talking about, where Julia's coming. They don't know that they should be living at the house. Okay, so they're in the car, right? And Mom gets a phone call from this doctor. And she starts making an appointment for Julia to come in and speak with him. And she's talking about getting this girl on birth control who already told Brandon, I'm not into the idea. But Mom takes it upon herself to make this appointment anyway. And Brandon is such a fill in the blank that he just says, oh, it's easier to ignore this. Hopefully it'll all just go away. And the parents say, yep, it makes him feel better to give her options for birth control. Mom says, we hope she's in a good mood when she gets here. We don't want a repeat of France. And I'm like, what? What happened in France? So apparently her parents and her, nope, I'm saying that wrong. Julia and her parents flew to France to meet, what the hell is it? Brandon and his parents. And they all got along great, and he started to see some bad things about her, some moods. And he said, 1 minute she can be a total angel. The next minute she could explode. I bet. You probably make her crazy. And my God, your parents have to be making her crazy. He says he's been through a lot paying for her to see him and the K-1 visa process. The producer asked, what made you propose this Julia after only seeing her 2 times? He said, well, she couldn't get a visitor visa, so we decided to do this. Oh my God. Then we're back to Jovi, the serial killer. His fiancée arrives tonight. She told him if he doesn't arrive with flowers, don't show up. He's never bought flowers before. Okay. He just moved into a new apartment. He hopes she likes it. He's been unpacking and setting up. On the way, he calls his mom. On the way to the airport, he calls his mom. She says, send me some pics. Send me something. And he's so weird. He's saying things like, who knows what can happen? Again, are these things you would figure out before you bring your, this person over that you have to marry really quickly? He says he's getting nervous and he wants to start things off good. So we see him at the airport smiling at her with the flowers. Yara comes down the steps. Okay. 25 from Ukraine. And immediately a producer asks, how are you guys feeling? He says he's excited. She said she feels tired. So we find out that she's flown 30 hours to get here. So she is beyond exhausted. And all of a sudden you can see Jovi switch. He gets really upset because he says he had a plan. He wanted to take her home and take her out partying on Bourbon Street. And all she wants to do is go home and go to bed. What are this guy's priorities? How does he not understand that she's flown 30 hours? I'm surprised she can even put a sentence together after all that. You'd feel like crap. You'd be exhausted. And, he has no common sense at all. So he really wants to go out drinking. As soon as she says, I want to go to bed, he's pissed. And she's pissed because she explains there were other options, but he wanted to save money. So he booked her this 30-hour flight. And he's saying, this is not the first night in New Orleans that I imagined. Well, maybe don't book her on that shitty flight. And maybe understand that she probably needs a shower and a nap. Oh, God, these people. Makes me feel better about my life choices, I swear. So then we get a flash to the rest of the season, which I'm super excited about. We're going to be seeing more couples. We see Zied getting some tattoos. That's a big deal because that's not a thing in his culture. Brandon running around naked at his parents' house. That really creeps me out. I'd really rather not see that. Thank you. Then Julia thinks she might be pregnant. Shocker. The guy that doesn't want to bother with birth control. He can't be bothered. She might be pregnant. Then we see Jovi is drinking at 8 a.m. And let's see. Oh, I don't know anything about this lady, but I want to get to know everything about her. She's buying watches for her fiancé because that's a normal thing you do. We get to see Big Mike's mom she looks like she's probably a train wreck, so that should be interesting as well. Zied wants to get married really fast, but Rebecca's worried about his motives. I'm like, hello, don't you just have 90 days? It's fast either way. I don't understand that. Let's see. Jovi is fighting with his fiance. That's not a huge shocker. Then we see Big Mike packing up the Russian lady and sending her back home. And I'm not laughing at her being sent home. I'm just like nervously laughing because what the hell? How does that happen? What happens? That is a hell of a first episode. I'm super excited to get into the season. I loved watching it. I loved recapping it. I'm probably going to stick with it if you guys want to stick with it because that was a really fun train ride. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out my other videos. Like I say, Real Housewives of Potomac finale coming soon as Amazon starts playing nice. Check out my other videos. I'm working on Miami. I'm working on Ladies of London. All kinds of stuff. So check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.